Okay, Jacob Schmitt with deerhuntingschool.com, taking a look at uh, I guess you would say a farm or whatever. There's one, two, three, four, five different properties on this. You see it, it's kind of color coded. Looks kind of neat here. Um, each one of these different property boundaries is a different little property, all part of one person's land. You see the thumbtacks. These are stands, um, and the videos for Corey. I appreciate you letting me look at your property, and there's quite a bit going on here. The pink and purple areas like this right here are possible food plots. These green are food plots that are growing now, and then the rest of this is stands. I'm not sure if this one number 3 is a stand, um, but it could be. So, anyways, the main thing you see here, it's agricultural area. I'm assuming, because when I talked with you, Corey, that this is a couple different people's properties and everything, and I know it's about all added together is about 2,000 acres. I'm assuming that these guys that own this have access to some pretty good equipment because of there's agricultural farmland and stuff going on this property. So I'm assuming they have access to some pretty good equipment for food plots. One thing I would like to see is more food plots for the winter for the deer, unless they're doing some agriculture stuff for the deer during the um, during the winter, unless they're growing some stuff that the deer have plenty of food during the winter. I would like to see that because most of the food is going to be gone, and I would like to see some food plots. I know you guys get a lot of snow up this way and things like that, so some of the food plots they can't get to. But I would even like to see. I think you had mentioned that they grow some soybean and stuff in on some of these properties. I would like to see if these guys own this, possibly maybe even leaving little destination sections with some soybeans where there's some pods and stuff on the on the edges or something, and for so the deer could have some extra food. Now, I can't remember what you had said that they leave growing around there, but there's something growing around. Oh, alfalfa on the edges and things. That's good, but I'd like to see some soybeans where when you do get snow, there's some pods left up, so these deer have really good food. Because I know your goals are to have this property for generations to come and have good quality deer, and then you're 2 or 3 good bucks off this, well within reason. 2 or 3 good bucks. There's some stands here I was look at and just kind of wondering whether there's some spots. There's several spots on this property that I'm wondering why there's no stand in, especially when we're talking hunting the rut. And these deer are cruising and things like that. So I would like to see more food plots, especially if they have access to this equipment, and some bigger food plots. I'm just going to zoom in here and kind of look. We're looking at this plot here, which is there. And let's just take a quick look at, yardage. Let's just go yards and just kind of look. I mean, we're talking a 45 by a 70, 80 yard plot on on this property here. And I know you've got some potentials here, but if we look at the size of this property in the wintertime, this property here probably is going to hold quite a bit of deer. This one here is too. It's got a lot of cover. That's where you're going to miss. You're going to be lacking in these areas. I mean, we're talking huge piece of property here. Nearly a mile wide. Nearly a mile there, or a mile tall, whatever you want to say it. And then this is probably a mile here. Yep, 1 mile. So we're talking almost a square mile with a, you know, not even a, I don't know, not even a half, probably maybe a half an acre food plot. I'm trying to remember the size of that, but whatever it was, you know, a very small food plot. I'd love to see some more, you know, food plots on this property here, bigger ones, or at least multiple food plots. Now you have 2 marked here. I do like the shape of some. I like that irregular shape food plot. It's up, tucked in within this cover. Looks like a good spot for a food plot to me, you know. But I would like to see some bigger ones. I would like to see more than just that one here and in this smaller one here. This smaller one here, I know these deer are not pressured like they are in most places, so they're more apt to be out in these fields and things. But I still like them plots tucked back, you know, in this cover. You know, like this one here. This potential plot is. I like that irregular shape. You know, maybe even wrap that thing. Let me get my pencil out here. Maybe even wrap this thing, you know, on around, you know, something even here. You know, really get a good, you know, boomer. Maybe you could even wrap that dude like that or something. Really get that, you know, I would expand that plot bigger. I would like to see these potential plots bigger. And even possibly, you know, something, you know, larger, you know, in areas like something like that, you know, larger, you know, some larger plots to really give these deer food in that crucial time. Because I know you guys get some brutal winters where you're at, you know, and a lot of snow on the ground. I would like to see some plants that gets up above that, you know, 6, 8, 10 inches tall. You know, they have some forage type soybeans that will really grow, you know, taller and put them a lot of pods on that you know, and you guys have the equipment, and these guys are farmers. They have the knowledge to do this, and just, you know, pop in some, you know, sounds like there's several of you guys, if they've got the equipment, you can put in some food plots to really keep these deer healthy. Because in that stressful time, if you know, I think without doing any management, you're going to get your $2 to $3, no problem. You should be able to kill your $2 to $3 on these properties. You have multiple properties here, 8 guys hunting 2,000 acres. You can manage these deer, and I would love to see that with the equipment that these guys have. I really think you guys can get more than $2 to $3 off of this property a year, off of these areas a year, and really, and you know what the bucks you do have. I know there's some monsters. I know that there's no question about it. I'm going to keep, you know, I'm not going to say where this area is or anything like that, but I know that there are some monster bucks here. There's no question about it. And you know, there's massive farmland. These deer have massive food when they're growing. But I would love to see a lot of food to last them throughout the winter. You know, so that these does can, you know, have really good food throughout the harsh winters and things like that. That's one reason I like, you know, something that's going to get up tall, get above that 8, 10, 12 inches where there's food up high, to where when this snow comes in, they can't dig down to that alfalfa when you get a lot of snow on. I would like, you know, some of them forage type soybeans that's going to have the pods, the high carbohydrate pods that these deer need in these brutal cold winters. You're going to have a very healthy doe. The bucks that go after the rut, they're more wore down. They're going to have the food they need to be healthy as soon as their horns start growing, instead of having to regenerate, which they have the food, no doubt, through the growing season. There's no doubt about that. But I would really like to see a really healthy deer, coming through that winter time. And then, you guys can have these plots to hunt on and things. These deer are, not pressured like a lot of areas, that we look at. These deer are, I mean, we're talking 8 people hunting 2,000 acres, and I think there was, we talked like 14, 15 days these deer are hunted a year. These deer are not pressured, so these deer will come out into these plots and things, and you guys are passing up, some of these a lot of these younger deer, and I want to encourage you, to continue to do that. And the other 2 people, that were basically, you talking about we're shooting everything, but they're making that transition. If you guys are going to trophy hunt this stuff, which is what, I would do if I was hunting this, you're going to have plenty of does. If you just want to meat hunt, shoot does for the meat and then have the bucks for the trophies. Have this stuff here, really encourage them people. Make it a big deal. Maybe you guys can, do some type of a prize thing, for passing, for the, especially for them. But you could make some type of a game to, hey, we're going to pass deer and, get rewards, or, something to encourage them to continue to do that and to make it, fun. And then there's no reason that all 7, 8 of you, could possibly kill a, 4.5-year-old buck off of this 2,000 acres every year. There should be no reason for that. If if everybody's passing the younger deer, there should be no reason whatsoever. You're going to have more than them deer. You're going to have deer from neighboring properties and stuff that you're pulling in. Especially if you have the bigger food plots where these deer can really get to in them harsh, winters when there's a lot of snow on the ground. It sounds to me like your main hunting season is back, after the snow starts hitting, after, all this. Most of these deer are hunted after the rut on this property. For the most part, the rut's winding down. You guys are hunting the food, so you need that. Have that. Corn will be great. Some cornfields, that you leave for the deer, to have. There allows them some good bedding, allows them some good cover to get out of the heavy winds and things. Leave that stuff standing. You can go in every now and then, and if you're going to hunt an area, take your 4-wheeler and ride over some of it, push some of that corn down. The deer will feed in that. Gives you some really good spots to hunt. I really don't see a reason that why you guys can't all kill a 4.5-year-old buck off this property. There's 2,000 acres. We're talking, a little over almost 4 square miles of property. And if it's managed and you guys are passing deer, there's going to be bucks that nearly never leave this property in their entire life, and there's going to be tons of does that never leave it ever. They never know that there's anybody else's property. And if you got that food, the deer are going to come to it. I don't know what your neighbors and things are doing, but I would definitely, somebody's got the equipment to put in these bigger plots to keep these deer having food. They've got the know-how. Right here, we're talking, putting in a 2-acre food plot. Or, on just this one particular ground here, if you could get in, the food for the winter, getting that food for them deer that you can hunt on, and, to keep them deer really healthy and to keep them deer coming to your property, and keep them, these mature bucks on your property. When you're hunting, they're going to roam. They're going to do all their roaming and stuff nearly before you are hunting for the most part. There's still part of the rut, the second rut, is still there, but y'all are hunting, mid-December. Most of the rut is over. These deer are transitioning back to the food sources. And if you have that high carbohydrate foods on each one of these properties, like this food plot here, I like that. I like the size of that plot that y'all are, potentially going to put in here. And I wouldn't, you could even make that dude bigger or put another one in. You have this one, pop, another one somewhere. Keep it close to that cover. I like that. I like these plots close to that cover, like this one here is. We have all this cover here, and these plots, are close to that cover. This one here is actually really right up in that cover, like that. This bigger plot, really close to that cover. I don't know what all's going on, in these areas, but you guys somebody has access to the equipment to get the, a decent sized plot in with very minimal work. They have the know-how to do it. I really think it's going to be the way you guys, need to do it. And then getting this, up in that food in the wintertime. The deer, there's no reason, that they're not going to have, they're going to have plenty of food in the summer. I mean, there's farmlands everywhere. There's crops everywhere you look. As we sit here and look at that, I mean, we've got crops everywhere. This picture, well, actually, let's just kind of go back and we can, in time here, see if we can get one. Let's see what time frame we have. I'm trying to get a picture from a different time frame. You can see here, I don't know what date these are. Not giving me dates on these pictures for some reason. But you can see that this is all farmland. So the deer have, plenty of food throughout the summer. Plant some, throw in some, plots here and there, to leave. I mean, basically turn it into an ag field, small ag fields here and there. Plant some corn, plant some soybeans, plants, a variety of stuff. They have the alfalfa, from my understanding. When we talked on the phone, they had the alfalfa surrounding the fields, so they have that. But plant them something that grows up off the ground a little bit, something that they can easily get to with the deeper snows that you guys get, so that these deer can have that, and that you're going to have really healthy deer. Okay, and there's lots of places you could put them. I like them tucked close to these cover. I like that. Like this one's tucked up in the cover. This one's, really close to the cover right here. This one here, they have to come out of the cover a little bit. It's not bad. It's a decent sized little plot. But, here's an area here. I know I done drawed that. But there's several areas, that you guys could make plots, some good size plots, pretty simple. Okay, and then, really keep the deer in there on your properties. And then these other ones are no different. I like this plot here. It's tucked up in this, got a finger coming out this side, a finger coming out this. The deer can really access it. I don't know what's growing there. I'd like to see, some good food for that the deer can, have some good nutrition through the time when they really need it. They don't need anything in the summer. Not just, there's no, in my opinion, there's no reason, I say no reason to put the plots there. A lot of people want to put food plots just to hunt on, to just attract deer. In my opinion, on these areas here, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to put food plots in to attract deer. These deer have tonnage. I mean, they have all the food they could ever imagine throughout the growing season in the summer. They have no reason, that they're not going to be there. They're going to be on the property. There's such a lack of cover that you have so much food that can support so many deer. Basically you could limitless the amount of deer you could have, food-wise throughout the summer. But then you have a lack of cover. Okay, so the deer are going to pile into the cover. There's no doubt about that. So, you know, I would like to see these plots being something that's really going to feed these deer through the stressful times of the winter, through the times you guys are hunting, the December months and things like that. Mid-December, I like to see January them have good food, February them have good food. I know you guys aren't hunting them, but that's going to make for a very healthy buck after he's come out of the rut. As soon as his horns start growing, he's already healthy. He doesn't have to build his body weight back up. He builds that up through the winter because he has the really good food. And immediately his horns start growing and they start going fast. He's got all the food he could ever imagine, quality food, that he could ever get throughout the growing season. He's going to have full potential. They've got the area, to do that. And so I would really like to see these food plots. I don't know what these guys are planning or what y'all plant in these, but I would like to see a variety. Obviously, you need a variety, and then you also need something in that early spring, something that's there. Maybe some patches of clover and stuff, something that these deer have in that time frame that that they need. That early spring before everything starts growing up, or late winter, early spring, that time frame. After the soybeans is kind of gone, pods are basically all gone. Deer's ate them up. Some clover to really, and you can go back in with your corn. Maybe not corn so much. If you kind of push it down or something, you can. But if you have some of these foraged soybeans planted in some of these places, or you could go with crop soybeans if you want. They're just not going to produce the height. Well, I guess they may produce the height, but you want something that's really going to get up above the snow and have pods up high the deer can get to in the winter. But anyways, these guys know what to plant, and you want something that's going to have that. But you can go in late fall and plant, different types of things. It's going to grow, through that because it's going to have sunlight. And these farmers know what they can plant. But you want that winter, and you want that early spring. That deer never goes without food. That your deer never go without food. Your fawns are very, very healthy. The mothers are very healthy. They have good quality milk for their fawns as they're young. The fawns have really high, good birth weights. They have really good nutrition through the entire summer, because all the fawns, but they have a really good start. They're going to have heavy birth weights. They're going to survive through the winter. Your button bucks are going to, have a really good kick start. Your next does. It's really good, healthy deer. So, I don't, know what you got. I know this spot here, you could pop up another plot here. There's several places you guys can put food plots. You can basically put them anywhere. I like them tucked close to the cover so the deer don't have to, expose. You wouldn't want to put a food plot right here, out in the dead center of this field. Obviously that's a crop field anyways, but you want to keep it kind of tight to that cover where them deer, can get to it, easily. And then let's just kind of look at this one up here. I'd like to see some food on this property, some food plots. I know the deer, like I've said a bunch of times, they got food all through the summer. I want to see that winter food for them deer. I want to see that food that's going to carry them through them harsh times. I mean, you guys, I've watched the Weather Channel, and you guys get 10, 12, 13 inches of snow, not uncommon. And, it may be sub-zero at times. And, them deer, that's when you're going to keep a good, healthy herd if you have that food. And I think with the equipment, you guys can do it. So, basically, pick some, you know, some spots, here close to this cover and stuff and things like that, that you guys, can have deer on every property. And you're going to pull deer, here, there's a big patch of cover here. Okay, and we're going to talk about some stand locations in a minute, but I know I'm going on and on about the food, but I really would like to see that, on every one of these properties, every single one of them. This one here, no different. I would like to see, some food for the deer in the winter. Some, to keep these deer. You don't have to, even if it's, I mean, maybe the smaller property, pop in, you're going to pop in some smaller plots, depending on what he, can sacrifice. I wouldn't sacrifice too much of my farmland, but you could sacrifice parts of it, of your crops. This one here's got several crops on it. You could, you guys could, however you want to work it out, but you could leave, all, whatever they plant here, harvest it all except for, maybe, 30 yards, from an area. Just giving some ideas here, basically. Well, let me move this out a little bit. We have this wood lot. Deer's going to be in here. You got the food plot here. But you could leave, oh, doggone it, a pin. Maybe like a 30 yards out or something, or 20 yards or 10 yards or whatever. You could actually probably go like 10 yards, a little strip, down there that they don't harvest, if it's good food in that time of year. Same here. You could leave a 10, 15 yard path in this little small area that they don't harvest. And then, same here even, a little small path. That's an idea in this bigger area. Out in here, I don't know, I don't particularly see any cover really close, but I would like it close, close to the cover. Let me erase that. That's an idea. And it's not just this, one little section you guys can do that with. There's multiple areas like that. This property here actually has some good area right in here. You could do that right in here. I think it's a farm field. It may not be, but, still pop a, food plot in this area, close to this cover here. To these funnels, what them are, beautiful funnels. Okay, this one's the same way. Got a beautiful funnel running right across this property, where I think that was a creek. I should have marked them creeks, but it looks like a creek on here. Beautiful funnel running right across that property, right in the middle in that lower section. It should be kind of grown up. If it's not grown up, I would kind of let it grow up right through there. Got another patch it, little cover here, running right at the edge of the property, stuff like that. Deer are going to hold to that. They've got plenty of fields that they lack in cover. Okay. And then, if you can pop some plots next to these funnels here are going to hold, that's what the deer are going to use, for covering things. That low ditch line, let that stuff grow up. Whatever. There's all kinds of habitat improvements you can do to these areas, to give the deer, what they need. And actually in reality they need a little more cover. And there's all kinds of ways you guys can do that without sacrificing your crop fields and stuff. Oh yeah, back down here. This one's, same way. You've got all this, on the edges and stuff around these edges. This property here has quite a bit of cover, and this one here has a lot. So now, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, this stands bad spot, this stands bad spot, that kind of stuff. Some of them, I kind of wonder why they're sitting there. Um, you know, and like I talked with you on the phone, I can't see every single thing that you guys can see. I can't see everything from aerial photo, but I do have questions as some spots that I think that definitely need some stands, and things like that. Now, one thing is whenever you start putting if you guys go and you start popping these plots in, when you start popping them plots in and stuff, you got to remember deer are going to be attracted to them during that winter, when you're in that mid-December when you are hunting it. Deer are going to be attracted to them because the food's starting to get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. They're going to be attracted to available food sources, okay? And they're going to attract to that stuff. So you have to remember that. And these wood lines and stuff are going to create funnels, okay? And these creeks, all these creeks that you drew out, I didn't mark them all, and one reason I can usually kind of see it. Fence rows, these fence rows and stuff. I think this is a fence row running up through here. Let me get my pen out. I believe this is a fence row. Deer will travel them fence rows and stuff. They're going to kind of like that little bit of cover they have. Probably a fence row or at least a wood line right down through there. They're going to travel this stuff here. They're going to travel this creek and stuff a lot. So you want to keep that in mind. They're going to travel down through this area. Keep that in mind as you guys are picking your food plot areas. You want them, plots. If you had a plot here or here, these deer are going to be traveling down through these areas. You want to keep the plots where the deer will pass them. They're going to get more use out of them. Plus, you're going to have some good places to hunt. You've got cover. You've got some trees you can get in, different things like that, and hunt these. Okay. So I'm going to back out, kind of point out some. I'm just going to kind of take each little piece here and just kind of quickly look at it. This area here looks like a lot of cover. I would like to, I like that big plot, talk about get that food in, and then, plan on deer coming to that. I believe you're going to have deer coming out through, these areas here. Not exactly sure what this is. Kind of looks like it's just kind of growed up to me, that areas, instead of being some good fields and stuff. So the deer may walk through that, basically. They may walk through this, kind of looks like just CRP, just, the deer may bed in that and walk through it and stuff. So, but one area on this property here that I see looks interesting to me. Actually, two areas now that I've zoomed out. One's where these deer, these are open fields. Okay. These deer are going to, stay in these wood lines, these tree lines a lot and stuff. So I suspect deer coming through in this area here. Maybe even cutting down this here. That's a spot that interests me. Same thing here. They're going to come around this lake, pond, whatever, is going to funnel them deer around that pond. Down. So this area here, possible stand location here. If this food plot is here, you're probably very likely going to have deer coming through this area. Be a good stand location without putting it right on the plot. The deer are going to feel very safe on the plot because there's no one hunting it, and you're catching them as they're coming and going, so they're not going to associate the danger with the food plot. I don't think you're going to have a lot of problems with that here because of the lack of hunting pressure. I mean, we're talking hunting the deer for like 14 days out of the year. on 2,000 acres. You know, I know some other guys are hunting it around. It's going to be some bow hunting and stuff, but very lightly hunted deer. So you're not going to have to worry about tons of over hunting them and stuff. By the time they're, you know, start figuring out, oh, well, something's going on, it's over with, basically. And the area is big enough where you guys can scatter out and move from one place to another, you know, to keep from doing that. Here, you know, it looks like this is like a little creek or something that runs through here. That's what it looks like to me. And that may, you know, this 8 kind of looks like it's setting on that. I like setting on creeks. Bucks a lot of times will follow them creeks, you know, checking for those and stuff. This one's setting on the plot. It's got plenty of cover around it. I like that smaller, awkward shaped plot for a hunting plot. And I really like that stand there. I don't think this one was a stand. Looks like a building. Could be, but so we're moving on to this property here. Basically have a wood lot here. Kind of come up. We have field, kind of funneling these deer down through this area here. Okay. So I want to keep that in mind. You want to, you know, I would look for an area, you know, in this area here. Kind of have a funnel in this area. It's more open, looks like here, you know, but they may come through here in this area here. I would look at that, but I really like this spot right in here. You know, to check out. You have a big wood lot here, and we have this fence row or something with fields on both sides. You know, and you have this plot here. You know, this fence row likely to be being used as a travel route, you know, to get up in here. You know, same with this fence row here, and I already kind of mentioned that. This area here's got some, you know, lots of places you could hunt. You know, up within the middle. I like kind of hunting where everything kind of comes together. You know, something like, you know, this here. You know, I have an edge here and an edge here coming down. I have these woods here coming down in this area. I have all this kind of coming down in this area. You know, have all this kind of coming up. You know, and it kind of puts a bullseye right there, so to speak. And I kind of like that area there. That's where everything's kind of coming together in there. That's one of them areas that I would like to look at, you know, for another possible stand location. You know, and you could even, you know, one of these open areas here, you know, y'all could put another one of them food plots, you know, like you know, I had talked about earlier. So 7 looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see if it comes to this wood line, this creek that runs down, but I'd like to get that shot on that creek. Let's zoom into that. Let's zoom in there. Just kind of look at that. And I believe that is a creek. Sure looks like a creek. And I actually think the stand is sitting right there. I think that is the deer stand. And it looks like, matter of fact, that you can see plumb to the creek. So, you know, if that's the case, that looks like a really nice looking stand. Because, you know, these deer, that's a perfect classic funnel. I don't know what I just hit. That's a classic funnel here. You know, got this here coming down, open area here, open area here, open areas here around that. It really necks down right here, but then it comes back in here again. And if you can shoot that whole path, I'd like to be able to shoot right down this here. Okay, So, and the stand looks like it's right here. Looks like the stand is right there, which works because, deer could come down this line here. And it looks like they're probably going to come down this creek or whatever. What it looks like to me. And, that looks like a good spot to me there. Okay, I'm just kind of looking. I don't think we haven't talked about this area up in here. 6. Really, I mean, it looks good. I would like to be able to. A lot of times I have a hard time remembering the different. I know you guys are shotgun hunting this, and a lot of times I'm thinking bow hunting, and I'm wanting that really tight range when I'm looking at properties. So sometimes I forget, that setting in 6 here, you actually can cover that. I'd like to be able to shoot plumb across this because that's a classic funnel here, that's running out into these points that go out into these fields and stuff. Here, as these deer work their way back and forth, and then no difference here. These deer obviously are not going to walk through the middle of the pond. They can swim it, no matter how deep it is. They can cross it if they want, but deer coming up out of here, kind of pushed around this side, or they're pushed around this side here, kind of deal. So that's that's a good spot. I'd like to be able to shoot, across this. I think you get a really good, shot to the edge of the pond as they, come around it or forced around it. So I think that one there's really got y'all covered good. The deer, one thing I see about that, and I mean, you have multiple stands, but deer coming on this side of that pond, I really see that happening a lot there as they come out into these areas, and coming back and forth and stuff, especially, when there's active food out here and whatever. No big deal. I mean, you can't cover every single spot every time. Kind of deal like that. Okay, now let's zoom out again. Let's look at this area here. One thing I noticed, there's no hunting location on this entire property. Y'all don't have anything marked. I believe this is a creek. I'm almost guarantee it's a creek that runs up through here. Should have some cover rolling up and down it, funneling them deer across. As these deer come out into these areas, they're going to funnel back, probably follow that creek a lot right there. That's one of them areas I talked about earlier. I would kind of let that stuff kind of grow up. But anything, that in that area there, possible stand location or something, it could even be here, whatever. That's kind of all I really see there, other than possibly right here on the corner. You've got some cover here. If you look at this whole area here, there's not, anywhere for the deer to be much, other than really this tree line. As far as cover, on the edges of these ponds, there's some cover. And down these creeks, there should be cover on these creeks. This creek actually forks here, just south of the property. It looks like it runs to this pond, and one fork runs to this pond, whatever, or vice versa coming out of them. I don't know which direction the water runs, but then you have another pond here. Looks like it's got a little cover on it. around the edges, here. You got some cover, here. So, that pot, looking in this area here, possibly here on that creek, I think is definitely. And then it runs up into this area, and this finger here that comes down this creek, where this creek comes down, kind of fingers out. It's got some cover on it, really does. And it actually runs up in here to a bigger, area as it comes up. And I mean, this is a long ways, but this is, connecting a lot of stuff together here. This creek is, and it comes across this property. I'd like to see it extend out, better. But it's all, that's what you got there. Okay, now the purple property here. I'd already talked about the food plot like that. I don't mind the stand even being on it, especially in a lightly hunted area like this here. There's definitely some funnels on this property that I think are overlooked big time. You've got the cover. I'm going to kind of zoom out here and just kind of, show this. If you look at the area, there's not, that's the one thing about the agriculture areas. Deer don't have a lot of cover. When they have cover, they have to congregate towards that cover. They have to have somewhere, they have to have cover. They have to have food, water, cover. Okay? And then have to have an arrangement in space. Okay? So these deer are starving for cover. And you've got a couple areas on this property that's some decent sized covers connected to this property. Okay, one is all around this thing. We've got cover all up through here. Okay, but it connects all of this cover. Okay, there's 90% of your cover in this, in this mile area. It's right there. Okay, if you measure this out, there's 90% of your cover, and right here, or actually probably more than that, 95%, whatever, of your cover. So there's where, 90% of your deer is. Obvious funnel here, connecting all of this cover here that's not even on your property. All of these guys' deer are connected to this property by this little wood line right here, just running down a creek or whatever. Okay, so I think that's big time an overlooked spot right here on this property. And then there's another one here, that's kind of exit. But right here, I mean, it's just, I really think there needs to be a stand there somewhere. Okay. Don't mind the stand here. I would like to, be using this lake or pond, whatever you want to call it, as a, area where I can let my scent blow into and stuff, and have my stands here. I mean, if the deer, or especially if they're, there's any kind of a rut phase going on, you're going to have bucks cruising. If there's any kind of seeking or chasing or anything, you have bucks cruising, and they're really going to, follow these. They're really, really going to follow these wood lines and stuff, and they're not going to walk through the lake, so they're got to walk around it, so you got some good funnel, here. I wouldn't, you don't have to move the stand. You can hunt line. But I'd possibly think about maybe even something here or in this area or something. That's just me. I don't have a problem with the stands on a food plot. The deer are heavily pressured. I just like hunting cruising bucks, kind of a deal. In the rut, anyways. So I think this was kind of a deal there, but. I definitely, think there should be one there somewhere up and down that, that's connecting too much cover that connects this property. Okay. Then you have cover up in, you could even have your stand here on this corner. You have cover. They're coming down. They're going to hook that. Same thing. So something like that. There, you may actually, keep the 9 possible stand location here. Walk this field with less cover. Tighter to the cover. So they may cut the corner, but I think somewhere in there as it connects, this little bit of cover here to all this cover here. Okay, so I think there, something like that kind of deal. And then up here, and I don't know what y'all's laws are about roads, what have you, and how close you can hunt to the road or whatever. And I know this main wood line here is off of the property. But I do believe that the deer are going to use this creek right here. And like I said, I don't know what the laws are on how far you can hunt from road and stuff. I know this is close to a road. If you can hunt it, it's a good thing. You can get in and out of the stand really easy. But somewhere in here, I believe is a good stand location. Yeah, and I'll show you why I believe that as soon as I erase that. I'm going to just kind of zoom out and show you why I believe that. Again, not tons of cover. And we've got cover, that's a finger that comes out here. We've got all this down in here. We've got this up in here and all this here. Okay, and that is a central kind of a bullseye. If everything kind of points to that. I mean, this doesn't, but it runs into this. I mean, the deer, yeah, they go that way, but all of this is kind of connected together with this little piece right here by the road. As these deer in this cover, as they're coming in and out, back and forth out of these crops and stuff, that's got it all connected. If you was to walking down this, boom, it's going to lead you right in that. If you're walking down this, boom, it's going to lead you right in that. If you're coming down this, boom, it's going to lead you to that. If you're coming down this, boom, it all runs to right there. I think that may be a spot that needs some attention. Now this yellow property up here, like I said, some of the stands, a couple of them I was kind of confused about why they were where they were, and this is them. And like I said, I can't see everything. I'm just looking at aerial photo. This here just kind of, it does connect this and all this together. This one here is really the one that's confuses me. Is this one here? It's out in the middle, from what I can tell, out in the middle of the field, and it may be marked wrong or whatever, but that one kind of confuses me. When during the daytime, I feel most of the deer. I'm not saying it's a bad stand at any means, either one of them, or any of these stands location, but it just kind of confuses me. It seems to me like, most of your deer, especially in the daytime, they're going to spend most of their daytime, within this areas here, and that's the time frame you can hunt. They're going to spend most of their daytime in here. I want my stands you know, very close to where the deer are going to spend most of their daytime. And on this property, it looks like that's where they're going to spend most of their daytime. I mean, it just, I don't know. I'm not knocking that at all whatsoever, but it just seems weird to me why it's setting out there. You know, I mean, a deer may be the best travel route of all of them. I don't know, but it just looks like it doesn't lead to anything or anything. It looks like there's nothing there. Um, but this, you know, particular property here has a very beautiful stand locations. Looks like on aerial photo to me. You've got just, you know, back to the agricultural deal. Problem with the deer short on. They're short on cover. And I'm just going to kind of zoom out and, you know, we've got a pretty good size wood lot here. Fingers out here, runs and actually connects to this big wood lot. Okay, and then you have this wood lot that just kind of comes off of it, or just runs out, you know, and you have these draws and stuff that come out in here, and then all this. I really like it right there. I really like right here and here and right there. I mean, yeah, it's a small property. I just drew four spots. Reason I like them is I've got several things pointing to them directions. I've got this here coming up, pointing to here. Okay, I've got this, 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 and this all pointing to here. Okay, I've got this pointing to here, and all of this is pointing to that stand location. Okay, now this here, this spot here, I've got all of this, all of this, all of this pointing to that spot, and I've got all of this pointing to that spot. Okay, if that makes sense to you. To me, I mean, yeah, the best spot on that looks like to be here, right there, because I have all this and every bit of this points to that spot. Kind of a deal. So, I think I've basically covered everything here, you know, that I can see. And I think a huge thing is going to be, you know, providing these deer with, and you know, the quality food and stuff they need during the time that they really need it. These deer have got plenty of food year round, other than that crucial December, late December, January, February, and you know, March time frame. Then the crops go back in the ground, boom, food starts coming in. And I'm just going to, I really think I've covered pretty much all of it. If you have any questions, Corey, you can email me. You know, like I said, on the stands, I kind of said it from the very beginning. I talked with you on the phone. You know, I can see a stand that looks weird to me, but I've had stands that were very good stands that on aerial photo doesn't look like it should be there. You know, it's like, what in the world would that stand be there? But the signs there, the deer using it, you know, you can see stuff on ground, but you know, and you can also pick out stands from aerial photo that you can't see on the ground. So, you know, I think I covered everything, and like I said, I really think with the size, you know, you guys have got about 2,000 acres. Keep your, you know, 15 days of hunting on these deer on 2,000 acres. There's plenty of deer. You know, there's plenty of non-pressured deer. Should be, you know, some monsters in this area. So, you know, that's where I stand looking at this, and you know, no one could convince me otherwise. You know, unless they actually prove me that there wasn't any big deer in this area. Period. And even if that was the case, you could get them there, but they're there. I know they're there. So anyways, I hope this video helps you out. I hope anyone else that watches this on YouTube, I hope you guys learned something from it. This is extraordinary property, to say the least. It really is. All these combined are spread out. You can hunt one property one day, hunt another one the next, hunt another one the next. You can spread, we've got 8 people hunting. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, 2,000 acres with 8 people hunting 14 days. These deer are basically not even hunted. No pressure on them at all, pretty much. I don't think the surrounding properties has hardly any pressure on them. I think that goes to be the same thing. I think this is a very good properties here, very good hunting, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Corey, like I said, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to email me. I'll help you out if I can. And good luck to you this season. I hope you kill a monster. It's very possible that all of you guys could kill some really nice bucks. And like I said, encourage them other people to whatever you have to do, make a game or something. Be creative to continue to pass on some of them deer. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Like I said, this is Jacob with deerhuntingschool.com. Check out deerhuntingschool.com for more tips, information, things like that on deer hunting. Thank you. Have a good day, and bye-bye.